Bella said. "But I hope it's just because you're a little tired. I wish you had seen Mr. Wingfield before you left home." "My dear Isabella," he said quickly, "please don't worry about my looks. Be happy with taking care of yourself and the children and let me look however I choose." "I didn't fully understand what you were telling your brother about your friend Mr. Graham's plan to hire a farm manager from Scotland," Emma said, quickly changing the topic. "What will he do? Won't the old traditions be too strong?" She talked for so long that when she was finally forced to listen to her father and sister again, the topic was safe. Isabella was asking about Jane Fairfax. Though Emma wasn't generally a fan of Jane, she was happy to help praise her at that moment. "That sweet, kind Jane Fairfax," Mrs. John Knightley said. "It has been so long since I have seen her. It must be such a happy time for her good old grandmother and excellent aunt when she visits them. I always feel so bad for Emma that she can't be in Highbury more often. But now that their daughter is married, I guess Colonel and Mrs. Campbell won't be able to part with her at all. She would be such a delightful companion for Emma." Mr. Woodhouse agreed and added, "Our little friend Harriet Smith, however, is just such another pretty kind of young person. You will like Harriet. Emma could not have a better companion than Harriet." "I am very happy to hear it. But Jane Fairfax is known to be so very accomplished and superior. And exactly Emma's age." This topic was discussed happily, along with others. But the evening didn't end without a little bit of trouble. The gruel arrived, leading to much conversation, praise for its healthiness and criticism of the many houses where it was not made properly. Unfortunately, Isabella mentioned that the most recent person who couldn't make it right was her cook at Southend, a young woman who could never understand what she meant by a smooth gruel, thin but not too thin. This was a dangerous opening. "Ah," Mr. Woodhouse said, shaking his head. He was thinking, there is no end to the sad consequences of your going to Southend. It doesn't bear talking of." Emma hoped he wouldn't talk about it, but after a few minutes, he began. "I will always be very sorry that you went to the sea this autumn instead of coming here. But why should you be sorry, sir? I assure you, it did the children a great deal of good. And if you had to go to the sea, it should not have been to Southend. Southend is an unhealthy place. Perry was surprised to hear you had chosen Southend. I know many people think that, but it is a mistake, sir. We were all perfectly healthy there and never had any problems from the mud. Mr. Wingfield says it's a mistake to think the place is unhealthy, and I'm sure he can be trusted because he understands the nature of the air, and his own brother and family have been there many times. You should have gone to Cromer, my dear, if you went anywhere. Perry was in Cromer for a week once, and he thinks it is the best of all the sea bathing places. He says it has a fine open sea and very pure air. And, from what I understand, you could have had very comfortable lodgings there, a quarter of a mile from the sea. You should have consulted Perry. But, my dear sir, think of the difference in the journey, perhaps 100 miles instead of 40. Ah, my dear, as Perry says, when health is at stake, nothing else should be considered. And if one is going to travel, there is not much difference between 40 miles and 100. It would be better to not move at all, better to stay in London, than to travel 40 miles to get into a worse air. This is exactly what Perry said. It seemed to him to be a very bad decision. Emma's attempts to stop her father were useless, and she wasn't surprised when her brother-in-law finally spoke up. Mr. Perry, he said angrily, would do well to keep his opinions to himself. Why does it matter to him what I do? Taking my family to one part of the coast or another? I hope I am allowed to use my own judgment as well as Mr. Perry. I need his advice no more than his medicine. He paused, and calming down, added with a sarcastic tone, if Mr. Perry can tell me how to travel with a wife and 5 children 130 miles with no more expense or inconvenience than a distance of 40, I would be as willing to prefer Cromer to Southend as he could be himself. True, Mr. Knightley quickly said. That's a good point. But John, about what I was telling you, about my idea to move the path to Langham, to turn it more to the right so it doesn't cut through the home meadows, I can't imagine any difficulty. I wouldn't try it if it were an inconvenience to the people of Highbury, but if you remember the exact line of the path now. The only way to prove it, however, will be to look at our maps. I hope I will see you at Donwell Abbey tomorrow morning, and then we will look them over, and you can give me your opinion. Mr. Woodhouse was upset by the harsh words about his friend Perry, to whom he had, without realizing it, been attributing many of his own feelings. But the soothing efforts of his daughters and the quick actions of the brothers prevented the argument from starting again.